Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. This is podcast episode number 201. Can you believe I've done 200 of these? And then another like 70 or 80 on the Monday Fires. But this is the episode where I'm going to talk about Clubhouse. How many of you are hearing people everywhere talking about Clubhouse? So Clubhouse is the newest social media platform that is kind of taking, I think, everyone by storm at the moment. And it almost feels kind of similar to how like when Facebook first started or Pinterest first started. And people are asking me questions about it. I have a Clubhouse account. I'm going to be on there tonight, speaking in a room for 7-figure business owners. I've got another one scheduled for Sunday night. I've sat in on a ton of rooms, and I want to chat with you about Clubhouse today and just kind of like how it works, my thoughts on it. And we're going to go for there. So let me just tell you that I know I did a podcast episode a month ago or so about Parler. And we talked about MeWe a little bit with my friends, Rachel Miller and Brian Dixon. And I made myself a Parler account and have never gotten back on it. I signed up for MeWe and have never gotten back on it. Okay. So with that being said, I am on Clubhouse and I'm loving it. And I want to tell you why. Okay. So here's what Clubhouse is. My team said it's basically like if Zoom and Voxer had a baby. And I was like, or maybe like Zoom and podcasting had a baby. Because it's a voice chat, and it's a voice chat by yourself with lots of people who can tune in and listen, or you can voice chat with a couple people and have all these people who are listening, or you can have just you or you and some other hosts, and you can bring people up to ask questions, like people in the audience. It's almost like a live podcast show. It's almost like a live TV show without the TV. It's almost like, no, I don't know what it's almost like, but that's what it is. And it's in the App Store right now. It's only for iPhone. So if you're on Android, like, wah, wah, I'm so sorry. But if you have an iPhone, and you can also use it on an iPad, go to your App Store. It's free to download. When you type in the word Clubhouse in your App Store, there's going to be several different Clubhouses that come up. It is the one with the man with the guitar. It almost looks like, because my eyes are bad, that he's like shooting confetti out of a bottle. Nope, that's a guitar. That's the top of a guitar. So that's the app that you're looking for. Okay. So they're calling it drop-in audio chat. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, you just saw my hand gestures. Drop in audio chat. And so essentially it is people just talking about everything from childbirth to business, from real estate to health and wellness. I mean, anything you can think of that there is a podcast episode about, there is definitely rooms going on, or rooms that have gone on Clubhouse. And so you can find stuff there. So, all right, I'm going to try to stick to my notes here, because otherwise I'll get distracted. So, well, Jen, why would you maybe go to Clubhouse instead of like listening to a podcast? Well, here's, I think, the appeal. Okay. I think the appeal is the live factor, because number one, you can't listen to anything later on. It's either you listen now or, you snooze, you lose. So you have to listen live. Number one. Number two, there's no way to comment or chat on the live. So it's not like a Facebook Live without the face, because there's no like interaction from the people, other than if they want to press a button and raise their hand and you want to pull somebody up. So it's not like you can have, 10 people in a chat room with you and they're all commenting back and forth and cheering you on. It's not that. It's more, they are just listening to you talk. So what is the appeal? Because the appeal is not community necessarily. So I have some thoughts on what the appeal is. So number one, for those of you who don't love Facebook Lives, like there's no visual here. So you can literally, like, no bra, makeup not on, hair up in a messy bun, looking like a hot stinking mess, go on and start talking, or be listening. Like, you don't have to be ready. You can be, doing the laundry. You can be driving. You can be, when you're listening to things. So I think that's an appeal. Number two, you're able to get into rooms with people that you would probably never be able to get into a physical room with. So let me give you an example. the other day I got notified. Jason and I are, we've purchased our first rental property last spring, and we're getting ready to purchase another one. And if you saw us in Florida, you know why. So anyway, so I listened to some real estate things, and Grant Cardone was going to be in a room. I saw that it was live, so I tuned in. And I think part of the appeal of Clubhouse is listening in on conversations of other people. So I was listening to this conversation between Grant, and he wasn't the host of the room, but he was a guest, and somebody pulled him up to speak. And it was really cool because, like, he was speaking about like real estate and real estate investing, and then he was like, "Hey, girls," he was talking to like his daughters. He's like, "Dad'll be right done. Like, just give me a second here." Now, the cool thing about that is it's almost like you feel like, remember back like 30 years ago when there was a telephone with an actual cord? Did any of you ever like your phone conversations got, you were able, like you picked up the phone one day and you were listening in on a neighbor's conversation? That's what it's like. That's what it's like. It's like when you're hearing things, but you feel like kind of like, well, they're like having an actual conversation. I'm just like getting to listen in on it. It's very much like that, which is kind of cool. And so I totally, listened in on that and just felt like it was a different side to Grant because it wasn't polished. It was just, he's really like at home, on his phone, and we're not having like a phone call with a million people. It's through an app, but you could also see who's there. You can see which of your friends are there. So you know who they're listening to. And like your friend could like ping you in to say, "Hey, I'm sitting in this room. I think you're going to love," you get a phone notification. I think Clubhouse is going somewhere. Now, I know I've talked to a couple people who are like, I think it's going to be dead. And I'm like, I don't, I think it's going somewhere. I think it reminds me of like, remember when Pinterest in the beginning, you had to have an invite to Pinterest because you have to have an invite to Clubhouse. I think Clubhouse is going somewhere. I think if you have struggled to build a platform on any other, like on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, there is zero censorship. If you can speak at all, and by the way, you've got a voice box, most of you, so you can speak. If go get a Clubhouse account. Now, listen. With that being said, you have to be invited to join. And so if you're like, okay, what does that mean? So I want you to download the app, the Clubhouse app. Okay. And then it's going to say something like, well, hopefully somebody can add you. And so here's what happens. A lot of times somebody that is in your contact list on your phone is going to get a notification that your friend so-and-so needs an invite. And then you can go, if you've already got a Clubhouse account, you get invites by sitting in on a lot of other rooms and engaging and participating in the app. So that means after I had sat in on a couple of rooms and like eavesdropped, then I was given a couple of invites and I was able to invite a couple of my friends. It will send an invitation for you through texting. Okay, so that's how you're going to get it. I was sent an invitation from my friend Nicole Walters, which was really cool. So I signed up, I got the account, and then like one day I get a text that Nicole Walters is giving you one of her invites to get on Clubhouse, and I'm like, yes, thank you. And so it's really kind of cool that way. I did sit in on a really cool room this week too with like a very popular hip hop singer. And I mean, when else can you get into a listen to a conversation unless you're, listen to podcasts between people who have conversations and it's very off script. You know what I'm saying? So that part is really cool. The eavesdropping part is really cool. Some interesting things about it though, like number one, I think that they're doing the invite thing in the beginning because otherwise I think there would be a mad rush to this platform. Number two, I think you can grow your following on Clubhouse very quickly. I found a guy the other day who has 500,000 Clubhouse followers already. And so I think that you can grow here if you haven't been able to grow in other areas. There is no barrier to entry other than getting an invite. You don't have to have any equipment other than an iPhone because it's not on Android, it's just on iPhone. But there's no barrier to entry. So it's like a level playing field. So for those of you who have really struggled in other areas to be able to grow any sort of a following, like, oh my goodness, get on Clubhouse. So we're going to talk about what you can do on there, the rooms. We're going to talk about how to use it to grow your business, etc. So I'm excited. I'm actually really excited about it. So forget Parlor, forget me away, like get on Clubhouse. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So what are some things you can do on Clubhouse? Well, you can drop in and out of a room. Let me turn on my app right now and let me see. And by the way, nothing is recorded there. So it's not like, oh, there's actually a room going on right now with Grant Cardone. that I could pull up. Amy Porterfield is sitting in on the room right now. You can see the profile pictures of all the people who are listening in. There is an ability in every single room to raise your hand at the bottom, which means I'm not going to push that because I don't want Grant to think I'm trying to come up in his room. And then there's a button that says leave quietly. There's also a plus button so that you can, so I could right now hit the plus button, and then I can ping somebody into the room. So like I could tell my friend Carrie, Mackenzie, who works for me, my friend Haley, oh, hang on. The room started again. And so, but I'm going to leave quietly real quick. Hang tight. And to leave quietly, you either hit the words leave quietly or the peace sign. And that's how it takes you out. So it's kind of cool. And so you can drop in and out of rooms. You can click on, if you get the app. Okay. So you almost need to pause this podcast right now, download the app, try to get invited, and then come back and listen to this. Okay. So if you get an invite and you actually get to sign up on Clubhouse, there's a calendar up at the very top, and you can click on that. You can see what rooms are currently live and what are coming up for you, because you can pre-schedule them. So like, let me give you some examples. Right now, there's a room called Entrepreneurs and Influencers. What's your story? Next is a Clubhouse music review. There's one at 12:30 calling selling six-figure offers. Another one on tech resumes, the do's and don'ts. And then here's one when profits pray. Come on. Now I can click the little, I can click the button to join the room in progress. I can tweet it. I could share it. I could copy the link, or I can add it to my calendar so that I come back and make sure that I listen in. Does that make sense? So all that is very, very cool. There is a topic list up at the top that you can pick, like different things that you are interested in. So let me give you some topics here. Hang on. Ooh, right now it says I have 3 invites that I can add people. Let me give you a little note here. If you get an invite, don't accidentally send it to your friend's old phone number, because guess what? You will lose an invite that she'll never be able. That happened with Carrie Robina and I. I sent it to her old phone number. She never got it. So that pending invite will be there forever and ever. So somebody with Carrie's old phone number now has that. Okay. So what were some of the topics here? Hang on. Give me just a second. There are, hang on. I'm still learning all the buttons myself. Okay. I see my pending requests. There's my search. Okay. There's conversations about wellness, life, faith, world affairs, arts. So for those of you listening who are like, oh, I paint furniture, I don't need to be on Clubhouse. Wrong. Artists on here, creatives on here, makers on here. If you were one of the first like creatives and makers on here, ooh, bada boom, bada bang, everybody will be following you. Sports, entertainment, places, languages, tech, identity, knowledge, hustle, and hanging out. The hanging out says bring a drink, late night, meet people, and co-working. Now, I will also tell you, I've gotten into a couple of rooms where language, hashtag language, there was some cussing. And so just, if you're in the presence of kids and you're getting into a room with people that you don't know, you might just be aware of that. Put on your AirPods, iPods, what do you call them? Earbuds, whatever they are, in case of that. So, okay, so you hit the calendar at the top, see what rooms are live. You can pick a topic that you're interested in. When you go into a room, you're automatically muted. Now, this freaked me out at first because I was like, whoa, I'm listening to stuff. Can they hear me? And then I had like a friend invite me into a room and I was like, wait, can she hear me? And then like, she's like, Jen, raise your hand. And I like raised my hand, and then she was going to bring me up as a speaker. And I started freaking out. And I'm like, okay, at what point can they actually hear me? It's when you become actually like a speaker, like a moderator, then you're automatically unmuted. So you can raise your hand and the moderator can call you up as a speaker. You can get onto the stage. And then, like I said, when you want to leave a room, leave the stage, whatever, you can just leave quietly. So there is a thing called clubs on here. If you follow an actual club, you will be notified whenever there's a room happening within that club. So there's a lot of interesting things going on. Okay. Every person who's on Clubhouse can create a club or a room. You can schedule it, or it can be spontaneous. So tonight I am sitting in on a Clubhouse room that is scheduled. I'm doing another one. I'm sitting in on Haley Hobson's room. On Sunday, it is scheduled also, but you can also just be spontaneous and start one. Think about a Facebook Live, for example. Okay. So if you schedule it, your followers can add it to their calendar and be notified when you're live. And so that's actually really good. You can ping followers to invite them into a room, which is fabulous. And if you want to create like your own Clubhouse, which is different than a room, you have to apply on the Clubhouse website. And there's some different rules there. So I don't think I'm going to get into that right now, but okay. So this all sounds fine and dandy. Sounds fun, right? Like Sounds like a blast. So what would be the point though? Why would one do this? What would be the point of this? How can it actually build a business? Because the truth is we don't want to get distracted by shiny objects. We don't want to be like another thing. And that thing that now you're focusing on is taking your eyes off of the correct thing and the right thing. So how can you use it to grow a business? Well, I think that there's a lot of different ways, honestly. I think that if you have struggled to build a platform in other places, if you've always wanted to have a podcast, but the tech is freaking you out, if you love to talk, but Facebook Lives freak you out because everybody can see you, you've put on some Corona weight, you haven't had Botox in a while, like I think Clubhouse would be perfect for you. And I think that if you are one of the first types of people in your industry to really be on there, I think there's such an opportunity. There's such an opportunity. So I think you can grow your business, one, by getting on there soon and by actually using it. Okay. So second thing that I think is really important to know is that your bio is really important. And the reason your bio is so important is because I have 250 followers and I haven't ever hosted a room yet. So, a lot of those are probably people I know, but literally I've only been on here a week, folks. So, there's that. Your bio needs to be extensive, be very descriptive and thought out. And I want you to go look at some other people's bios and get some ideas. So we have worked really hard here at Team Allwood, Mackenzie and I have, to get my bio to be really good. So let me tell you some of the stuff about bios. Okay. Your bio needs to state who you are and what you do. In the beginning, at least get your username, because when there's not a ton of people on here, then you can do like my friend Shanna. You don't even have to have your last name. You're just Shanna. You're like Madonna. You're like Prince. You're just Shanna. You're amazing. You're Shanna. And so get there quick. But the first couple of lines are very important because people are going to, they're going to see that when they're looking through different people's profiles. So the first couple lines are the most important. So go look at my bio. We've set it up in a way that I think it's going to really help people to find us. Second cool thing about the bios on Clubhouse is emojis are heavily searchable. Hashtags are not. So you're not going to go into Clubhouse and search for hashtag podcasters to find other podcasters to listen to, or hashtag creative business owners. Like that's not what you're going to search for. Instead, you could go on and search for the word entrepreneur. You could go on and search for the word musician. You could go on and search for a cross for people of faith. You could go on and search for a podcast mic for podcasters. You can literally search emojis. How cool is that? So my bio is heavy on the emojis. Now, in some of the people in the Impact Mastermind that I'm in with Stu McLaren, they were the ones that helped me really to like dial in on my bio. They were like, Jen, like you really need to do your bio better. And I'm like, what? I thought my bio was kick butt. Nope, it wasn't. So a couple people that you can go follow who have exceptional bios. So one is her username is Shanna. And I told you about her. So it's Shana. Her bio is fabulous. I want you to go look at the bio of Haley Hobson. She's got an amazing bio. She's in the oils, essential oils business. I want you to go look at the bio of Rhonda Nelson. So Rhonda's Ronda. She is a clinician. She's a functional medicine doctor that I have personally worked with. And so she has got a fabulous bio also. And you will see that a lot of these people, they have like, and let me see, Jamie Swanson, if I remember right, has a fabulous bio too. Yep. Jamie Swanson does. You can, her name is Jamie Bright, because her hair is a rainbow. So go look for Jamie Bright on there also. Those are all great bios. And then go look at mine. Your bio can have a ton of information. It's much longer than like say Instagram. And it can have lots and lots of links in it, but the links aren't clickable. So when you're writing your bio, you want to make sure that you're using a lot of hashtags because those are searchable. And you want to have like a whole section where you're basically bragging on yourself. Okay. So in my bio, we put that #1 bestselling author, Fear's Not the Boss of You, featured in Forbes twice, 2.5 million downloads on the podcast, been on Extreme Home Makeover 4 times. Like that's where you want to like toot your own horn, just for like social proof, so people know to follow you. So yeah, I'm super excited about the whole emoji thing in the bio. I'm just really excited about bios in general. It's pretty easy to switch your bio. You literally just tip on the words tip on the words. Tap. That would be tap. That would be an A. That'd be an A. You tap on the words and you can edit it. You want a good profile picture. So I thought I had a good profile picture until I was in this, I was in a Clubhouse room with other people on Clubhouse, and they were like, girl, no, because I was looking away from the camera and it was in a beautiful background in my house with like flowers and lots of color. And they're like, we kind of lose you in the background. So I want you to make sure you're picking out a bio, a headshot that is colorful, that you really, you're looking at the camera and you show up. Okay. So there's that. All right. What else? Links don't work in your bio. Told you that. So keep it short and simple. Make sure your links are going to be easy for people to remember. I mean, my link's jenniferallwood.com. If you think for a minute that people are going to be able to remember backslash, or slash, a whole bunch of more words and then another slash and some words and dashes, that they never will. I mean, I'm sure they can copy and paste them, but make it easy. Okay. Make it easy. Let's see. One of the other things is your handle is searchable. So for instance, we have had a lot of conversation on my team about whether or not to change my handle from Jennifer Allwood to Jen Allwood Entrepreneur or Jen the Business Coach or something along those lines. One of the things though that we found out is you can only change, I believe, your handle twice. And then it's like permanent, or you have to get like additional permission and write them. And I don't want to jump through all those hoops. So don't think that you can like start your handle and then change it and change it again like you can on Facebook and Instagram, because you can't. So if your handle happy, put some thought into that. Okay. But you could do like one of the examples Mackenzie and I came up with was if you're a wreath maker and your name's Rachel, for instance, you could put like, your handle could be wreath maker Rachel. It would be easier to search. Also, the limit's 15 characters on your handle. So there's that. Okay. Let me see. Another really great thing about Clubhouse is just totally great networking. It's just rubbing elbows with people. It is, just a fun place to be able to find people that you maybe have not connected with on other platforms. A great place to connect with people who are very anti-social media at the moment. For the people who are like, I am so tired of Facebook and all of its censorship and all of the things. This is a great place for you to connect with other people that have gotten off of some other social medias. So you have personal free access to experts everywhere. What a great opportunity to just sit in and listen. And so it's a great way to listen to thought leaders. And I think it's a great way to position yourself as a leader in your own space. So let's see, you can't send DMs, just know that. You can connect your Instagram and your Twitter. So here's what I've seen a lot of people doing when they're doing rooms. They say, if you've got a question, this is brilliant, by the way, you'd like for us to address here, go send me a DM on Instagram. Now, what that does is it makes sure that you have people, you're pushing people towards another platform where they maybe would be able to click on a link or get to know you a little better. Does that make sense? And so I would definitely be trying to kind of cross promote other things, but you can, like my Twitter and my Instagram are both linked. Don't you think it's fascinating that they picked Twitter? And I don't know why, that just is fascinating to me, and Instagram of all things. So I'm like, okay. And then at the bottom of your bio will always show who nominated you onto Clubhouse. So at the bottom of my bio, you can see that I nominated Nicole Walters. On the bottom of Carrie Robina's, you can see that she was nominated by Jennifer Allwood. And so that's kind of interesting because then you can click on different people's, who they were nominated by, if there's people that you're following, and just kind of get an idea of other people who are in their industry. So why do I feel like I just said that all a million miles a minute? I'm excited about Clubhouse, you guys. My biggest thing lately is I just feel like I had some time over the weekend, but this week we've been delivering to our next level clients and been putting in a lot of hours every day. And I haven't had time to sit in on as many different rooms as I would like to. But it's fascinating to me. If you like podcasts or audiobooks and you like learning, this is a great opportunity. I see some other great opportunities. Well, let me be really honest with you. I see some really great opportunities to build some connections where the world is really trying to divide us. I was speaking the other day to my friend Jamal and another friend of mine, Angelica, and I was like, I've sat into some rooms that everybody there kind of looks alike, and then I'm hosting rooms or where everybody looks alike, and let's try to figure out how we can get people who look different and think different and get and really be able to like share our communities and our knowledge amongst each other. I think there's a great opportunity for that, you guys. I think there's a huge opportunity for those of you who do something that maybe isn't about business, because the business people are coming here. The entrepreneurs, they are coming to Clubhouse. Now, if you're somebody who is a musician, do a room and like do what musicians do, jam. Whatever that is. I think there's a huge opportunity there. If you're a person of faith, I have not seen a lot of rooms full of prayer. Now, I have asked 3 friends of mine to do a room with me where we're literally going to be praying for some business owners. I'll let you know when we get that scheduled. You can watch for that on my Instagram stories. But I just want to take an opportunity and like pray over the Clubhouse app, over the rooms, and over the entrepreneurs that are in there. So I think that's going to be fun. There are opportunities there. I will say that. So how can you get an invite? How can you get an invite? Like I said, go start an account. And hopefully somebody that's already got one will invite you. I have seen a couple interesting things like invite threads, where basically there's some people I've seen on social media that are like, okay, if you are on Clubhouse, I have like 3 invites. Put your name below and your handle if you're trying to get invited. And then basically like the top person gives an invite to the next person, who then has to engage a whole bunch. And then she gets an invite and give it to the person below her. So there are ways of like doing things like that. I think that at some point Clubhouse will be wide open. You won't need to wait for an invite, but I think that they've been smart in trying to get some kinks out before everybody is trying to get an account there. And by kinks, by the way, I haven't seen any kinks other than the other day. I was supposed to be in a room as a moderator. And as soon as I joined, I'd been there like 3 seconds and the whole room exploded. And the whole app went down for a little while. So anyway, that's the only kink that I've seen thus far. But I think Clubhouse has a ton of opportunity. I'm just going to say it. I think it's the one app on my phone that has a cool picture on it. It's not just a I wanted to say a dumb blue letter F. No, I'm kidding. But it's at least a fun looking icon, which is cool. And I think that I think there's opportunity here. And I think that we're not to be distracted by the things that don't count. But if you can be intentional with figuring out how to funnel people from just listening to you on Clubhouse to establishing yourself as an authority so that people want to actually find you in your industry, I think that's huge. I think that if you can, I know somebody the other day who sold a $2,500 course in one of her Clubhouse rooms. I mean, if you can do that, bada boom, bada bing, that is worth the investment, especially for those of you who are having a hard time growing on other social media. So anywho, let me know on Instagram DMs if you are on Clubhouse, if you want to be on Clubhouse, if you hate Clubhouse, if you hate houses in general, let me know. So I hope this was helpful, my friends. I hope I'll see you on Clubhouse. Make sure you go follow me. Right now, we're still at Jennifer Allwood is the handle. And send this to somebody else. You know that people have been asking. You've been hearing people talk about what is Clubhouse? Are you on Clubhouse? Send this to them. Let them listen to it. I think I gave you some good pros and cons. The con is it's the wild, wild west. You can get into some rooms that are, a lot of showing off. There's some cuss words. It can feel messy. There's that. Another con, let's see. You have to wait for an invite. But there's a lot of pros, friends. And I think the pros right now outweighs the cons. And so forward this to somebody else who's been trying to decide if they should get on it or not. Okay. Bless you, friends. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.